how do you pass your CELPIP exam this year or the remainder of 2024? There are some patterns we have been seeing, and those are likely to continue. These are 5 things where students are struggling, and they're 5 tips that'll help you solve those struggles. So if you have given CELPIP already, you know reading is one of the hardest modules. In fact, I did a poll here on this channel. You guys said reading is the hardest, followed by speaking. Writing and listening were relatively easier. So reading is a problem, especially in part 4. When you go to part 4, the vocabulary level is intense. It is almost academic. In some cases, it is completely academic. This is a general exam, but the vocabulary is going to shock you. So your words in the passage that you're reading are going to be difficult, and in the questions, they're going to be not only difficult and advanced, but also they're going to be paraphrased. So it's not going to be the same words that are in the passage. So how you work on this, you can look at our free resource down in the description. 400 best words for CELPIP. It's a video. You can play it on YouTube and you'll see what kind of words you have to learn. We also have 1,000 words, a word list that is important and key for CELPIP. That's included in our course. I'll tell you more about that later on. But using word lists is important to not only build your vocabulary for reading, but also for other modules. Now, how you can ensure you remember these words, because a lot of times you look at word lists and memorize, then you forget, and you rarely use them in writing and speaking. When you look at these words, make sentences. For each word, make 5 to 10 sentences. When you do that, your brain relates to them better, puts them in a situation where it can be used, and then you remember those words for a lifetime. So make sure to do that practice. And when we go to part 2, my second tip is again about reading a vocabulary, because this is a big problem. But here is where you can relate to the context and get a better hang of whatever you're reading. For example, let's have a look at this very, very difficult reading, almost insane. It says, the pervasive influence of globalization, we're going to read the first sentence only, has engendered, not endangered, engendered, which means increased or caused, multifaceted transformations across socioeconomic, political, and cultural dimensions, precipitating an unprecedented convergence of disparate systems and ideologies. What the hell is this? Well, this is very confusing, but even if I don't understand half of the words here, because they are very academic, can I tell myself the context? Can I tell myself what it basically is trying to say? Let me try. So the pervasive influence of globalization has engendered multifaceted transformations. It basically means when globalization has increased, things are changing. There are transformations. Okay. Across socioeconomic, political, and cultural dimensions. So across different areas. Precipitating an unprecedented convergence of disparate systems and ideologies. So that means it's causing kind of a disruption in the different systems we have. Unprecedented means unexpected, but you can see it's not a key word here. I can understand that, it's a convergence. Converge, most of it's like mixing up. So it's a mixing up of systems and ideologies. So things are changing. It's mixing up different factors. What do I understand now in all of this is because globalization is increasing, a lot of things are transforming in economy, politics, and stuff. And that is causing a lot of disruption, and systems and ideologies are getting mixed up now. So this is a simplistic way of expressing what is highlighted. And you want to first simplify this in your brain. If you do this, that's good enough. You get rid of the vocabulary problem. However, when you get to the questions, this is going to be paraphrased even more. So let me try to give myself an example of what I just read. If globalization is causing all that disruption and this convergence of systems, it probably means when you have globalization, local businesses compete with international businesses. You have a lot of immigration, which can have positive and negative effects. So that's probably the ideologies and systems that are mixing up. And we know that the globalization is increasing all over the world. So that's an example. Now, I fully understand this, and I understand the concept. I can even imagine and picture this. So all of that difficult vocabulary that was given to confuse me does not confuse me anymore. And I'm going to go with the next sentence and so on with the understanding of context. Okay? So remember, vocab can be overcome with this practice. However, always try to improve vocab, because in this case, if you didn't know convergence, it could be a problem. Okay? Let's talk about writing task response. This is where a lot of you are losing marks. You would do perfect grammar, vocabulary, but you missed the question. So how do we fix this? You want to do brainstorming. Task 1 and task 2. Here's what you do in the brainstorming. You can read the questions if you want. In this one, it says, describe the problems with the laptop, request a refund. These are your 3 bullet points that you always have in the exam. What you want to do before the actual writing is make 2 points on bullet point 1, 2 points on bullet point 2, 2 points on bullet point 3. 2 points each. Write them down very briefly or try to remember them, but I advise writing them down so you really remember. Then when you go to task 2, you have, for example, option A that you selected. You want to make 2 points on this, why you select option A, what is the benefit, and you would say that in body 1. In body 2, you're going to bash the other option, what's wrong with option B, and there should be 2 points, 2 negative points about what's wrong with option B. So now you have 4 points for task 2 and 6 points for task 1. Once you have these, there is no way you are not answering the question unless you're really, really sleepy in the exam. If you have brainstorming up to this level, you will fully answer every bullet point and fully cover both sides of the argument in task 2. So make sure to take 2 points down for each bullet point and 2 points for each option in task 2. Write them down. I suggest writing it down briefly and then erasing it, deleting it before you submit the writing. Now, let's talk about speaking. Speaking naturally is a big problem, which I've seen in so many recordings that you guys send me via email, and you can send us your recording for free feedback. And these are some things I'll tell you. Speak naturally, don't speak like a robot. A lot of you sound very monotone, and it's so clear that you're trying to do an exam. Try to be natural, but that's a general strategy, so let's jump into some specifics. The first thing is using contractions. Instead of saying I'm going to, you can say words like I'm gonna. In fact, some pronunciation also changes when you're speaking naturally. When you're saying I'm going to, a lot of times when native speakers say it, they make it ta. I'm going to do this. Or he has to whatever. So make sure it's a little casual, not too much though. Don't laugh. Humor or laughing is not good, or using slang is not good, but casual conversation is good, and it's going to make you sound more natural and relaxed. Mimic native rhythm. So what you can do here is at home when you practice, listen to native speakers, Canadian preferably, listen to their interviews on YouTube, pause those interviews after a few seconds, try to repeat exactly like them and follow their tone. Also, vary your tone and pace. Again, change volumes, change emphasis wherever you can, especially when you express adjectives. Use idiomatic expressions like piece of cake, break the ice, spill the beans, where appropriate and where you know them. This takes practice. You have an idiomatic expression word list on our channel. Check that out, HZad Education idiomatic expressions. There's a detail there on how you can do this, but mostly the best way to use this is by understanding context. And if you watch videos, TV shows, interviews, you will see how people use these terms and you'll be able to use them in your speaking as well, naturally. Speak in shorter and long sentences. You have to use both. A mixture of simple sentences and complex. So simple sentences, I would suggest you go to the gym. Complex sentences, I would suggest you go to the gym since it'll help you lose the extra weight you have gained in the summer months. This complex sentence breaks down a sentence into 2 parts. So the more complex and simple mixtures you use, it's not only going to help your vocabulary and range, but it's also going to help you keep it natural because you can express things in multiple ways. So guys, remember to not be a robot in the exam and actually be natural sounding. Now this tip, I was thinking, because I don't like to self-promote as a tip that use our course, and that's tip number 5. But the biggest reason for success for many students has in fact been taking HZad Education's 15-hour self-paced course. It comes with 15 hours of videos plus a 5-hour compressed version of everything, as well as 5 challenging mock tests that prepare you really well for the exam, and a free assessment session. So you get tons of content in this course. It's easily accessible and downloadable. Right down below, you'll get the link in your email immediately. Register for that course. You have a score guarantee. If you fail, we return your money. So check that out and make sure to follow these 5 tips to guarantee your success in the remaining months of 2024. because the CELPIP exam will make you look like the lady in the watermark. So let's not let that happen and make sure we ensure a great score. Please like, share, and subscribe as well. Really appreciate it.